and I cannot talk about it. It was too dry for me. So by chance, I got a job with a private equity firm that taught me about how to do deal writing, pretty much deciding how much a company should be worth when you're raising money for it. That, in my early 20s, got me to work in Switzerland and Spain, which was awesome. And then I moved to New York. My parents at the time lived in Houston. And they were like, well, you're the oldest of 4 brothers. I think it's time you lead a good example and come live near us. So I tried Houston didn't really work out, but in New York I got some great offers. So I got a job at a boutique brokerage firm trading stocks before 2008 market crash. And then of course the '08 market crash happened, Lehman Brothers went out of business. I was still working there, and then random questions started to come up in my mind about how could this happen to anyone? How could people lose hundreds of thousands of dollars and have no way of either protecting it or earning it back? Back then, it was literally about a client would walk in, give you a $100,000 check and say, buy XYZ stock for me. So that got me into discovering Sharia-compliant investment space in the US. In England, it's talked about a lot, people are aware of it. I didn't know that there were any halal investment firms in the US at the time. And I kind of left Morgan Stanley after a while and moved to a firm in Virginia. Then I kind of did a couple of other jobs working and creating exchange-traded funds. And then I was headhunted for a company called Wahid Invest, which was the first online platform built for Muslims to invest in. The first question I would get, people would say, well, this is too good to be true. How can I invest $100 and make something out of it? So alhamdulillah, I did that for about a good 5 years. The ecosystem had matured, and I knew only for about 12 years, and we kept coming across the same questions from a lot of clients. What more can you do for my money? What more I can do for my parents to make sure they do not outlive their money? And that comes down to financial planning, tax planning, and the 2 things I hope that from my part of the talk I can leave you guys with is diversification. So I'll leave it at that, let you do your intro, and then we'll come back to this piece.
Absolutely, yeah. So I started off in the financial services industry straight out of college. I started as a financial advisor for Merrill Lynch. And to be honest with you, I didn't know a thing about Islamic investing. I didn't know what riba was. I started, just investing for everyday clients, and then eventually started working more with people in our community. And I think this is about 2006, 2007, when I discovered Amana Mutual Funds. I met Moni, and he actually came out and visited me when I was an advisor at Fremont. I think we also spoke on a panel at one of the masjids, and I started learning about Islamic investing, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I didn't know that something like that was out there, because I did have clients say, like, where is this investment halal? I'm like, I don't know what you mean by that, but so that's when I kind of started learning a little bit more about not just Islamic investing, but faith-based investing and ethical investing. So I used it so much that one day Amana came knocking on my door when he called me, and they hired me as their first external wholesaler. So my job then, after 2007, 2008, the Great Recession, was I moved to Amana, and I started visiting all the different Merrill Lynch offices, other financial advisor offices, in pitching the Amana mutual funds, and not just to Muslim advisors, but non-Muslim advisors. As Tony spoke about as well, that once they opened up that channel, the distribution channel to Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Merrill Lynch, etc., they saw massive inflows coming in because they saw the significance of principal-based investing, avoiding companies with large amounts of debt. And so that put Amana really on the map, not just in our community, but outside of the community as well. And that just kind of opened up the door for me. Like from there, between myself and Saad, we've worked at pretty much every Islamic institution out there: guidance residential, the non-bank, Wahid, Azad, Amana mutual funds. So the cool thing is that what we noticed is that with all of these companies, Sharia portfolio, there is still so much need in the community, right? For our services, for not just the products, but the hand-holding, the financial literacy. So when Saad and I first met, when he was at Azad, we talked about that a bit. We just said that, hey, there's just so much more. We're just scratching the surface here. Amana is scratching the surface. All the companies are scratching the surface. There's just so much need there, so much demand, that there needs to be more resources for the community, whether it's just providing that financial literacy or having different institutional level investing for our community, more hedge fund style investing for our community. How do we do that? So that's pretty much where our first conversations took place. And then fast forward, 10 years later, we decided to work together, and we launched Nama Private Wealth. So that's kind of been our journey.
Yeah, and we did that because to fulfill certain gaps that otherwise were not being done. You want to manage your 401k, it's self-managed. You buy mutual funds from Amana, from Sharia portfolio ETFs. Alhamdulillah, there's a lot of diversification. But what's beyond that? So there are two types of diversifications people do. Anyone here can very quickly define their own definition of diversification? How would you define it? Just shout out whatever you think it is.
Balance.
Balance, okay, I like that. That's a very single one word. Anything else?
Variety. Variety.
Variety, yes. So typically when we think of diversification, we think I'm balancing my investment portfolio. If some parts go up, some parts go down, I should be okay eventually. Or balance. We define diversification in two ways. One is, which is very common, is called stock-based diversification. You buy mutual funds, you buy ETFs, which means they're a basket of stocks, and you invest in them. Some go up, some go down. You're diversified in the stock market. We have learned and we've been trained to invest in buckets. That's why the term buckets come up a lot when you talk to an advisor. Oh yeah, I'll put you in an aggressive bucket or a conservative bucket, or you're older, you should be moderate, you can't take too much risk, let's put some money into cooks, etc. When we launched NAMA, we wanted to bring alternative investments. So our definition of diversification is IBD, innovation-based diversification. So when we invest money for our clients, we ask, okay, we understand your risk profile, the whole usual, but we go above and beyond stocks, basically. We go above and beyond regular investments, and we do venture capital-based investments. I work for Muslim startups where I have the privilege of raising money. I started my career unknowingly in the industry in private equity, so I have the sound understanding of knowing, number one, how we should be raising money and how we should decide what kind of business to invest in. That also comes down for us to understand the time value of money for our clients. Basic understanding is the more hours I work, maybe more money I will earn. I put in extra time, I'll get a good bonus, I'll be good with it. So you're pretty much burning a lot of time to earn a little bit of money. What if you could flip it? What if you could work your standard hours but make your money work for you above and beyond? That's what venture capital means, investing in businesses that someone else is going to run, put in the hard work, deliver results for themselves and for you, because you're trusting them with part of your money. And that's what we do at NAMA Private Wealth. We believe that, alhamdulillah, the way our economy is shifting now, the next generation is coming of age, the idea of investing in our own ecosystem, in our own business, in our own Muslim founders, is going to give us a lot more wealth to pass on, basically. So that's where we stand with it.
Yeah, and ever since October 7th, we've seen such a dramatic shift in our community for the good in terms of understanding that, hey, okay, we need to wake up, we need to figure out how to do things, and so actually it's interesting because that's when we basically just launched NAMA, right? And there's always a little bit of nerves, like, hey, we're launching something on our own, there's no steady paycheck coming in, we're doing this completely, it's ours, right? And it's incredible to see how the community kind of responds. So I feel like two things. One is we saw Baraka in it right away, that, hey, look, we did this thing, we did something with good intentions and we want to benefit the community. So we immediately saw the benefits of Baraka in that. And then secondly, it's amazing how we just saw people trusting us right away. Because I think a large part of that is because we've been with Amana, we've been with Guidances and Wahid and Azad, so people did know us. We did build some type of rapport. But for the most part, it's been incredible in this journey to kind of see the community respond and put that faith in us. And that's something we don't take lightly, we don't take for granted. And that's something that we talk about whenever we're talking about people investing within the community. There's a couple things, right? One is that we need to change the paradigm of, hey, I want to get a discount or I want to get a lower price. I think we need to, see what the Jewish community does, see what the Chinese community does, right? And not be worried about, hey, am I getting the best deal, but more about like, hey, how does this benefit the community as a whole? And then secondly, from our side, we need to make sure that we're professional and we're delivering the type of service that that our community needs and that a non-Muslim would expect, right? So we can't take that for granted as well. So it's kind of twofold for us.
No, absolutely. And I think what we've realized, and we want to be respectful of time as well, there's a lot of talk about Muslim founders coming up that are building startups. I think some of them are going to pitch here as well. You don't need to have a lot of money to invest in them. You need the right people by your side to help you make the right decision. That's what you pay advisors for. When I worked at Morgan Stanley, the one thing I learned was people sometimes had a lot of money, some of them didn't, but they wanted someone to give them an unbiased opinion on a decision they believe is best for them. And then you would argue and debate with them to say, no, I disagree because your benefit is my benefit. If you're going to make money, I'll be successful as well. That's the selfish reality of it. So when you are thinking of saying, okay, how do I do innovation-based diversification? I want to make sure I've got Sharia compliant stocks. I have some, investments there that's liquid, meaning I can take it out whenever I want and invest. But I also know that venture capital and private equity is slightly more long-term. It could be 3 years, it could be 5 years, a little bit more. So I want to diversify in a smart way to do that and support my own ecosystem because now we can than before. And that's what we bring to the table for our clients. We kind of talk about it. We have access to startups. Some of them are pitching here that we'll be working with closely as well to build that out. You can do it directly with cash. You can do it from your retirement accounts as well. There are many ways to do that sort of work. And that's the specialty we bring. And to the topic that Crossroad is happening, alhamdulillah, in a very natural way, well, we had a lot of younger clients come to us in their 20s and 30s, but they said, look, I don't have money for you to manage, but can you please talk to my parents? They may lack having a trust, they may lack having a will, they only have a 401k, their fear is they might outrun it, and I want to work with someone who speaks my language. Not English or Urdu or Hindi, but who speaks like me when it comes to investing, who understands digital assets, who can tell me is it good to invest in a Muslim-owned startup or a business that will generate revenue. We actually invest our clients' money in Germany coffee shops right now. You don't have to own it, you can get royalties out of it. So again, your time value of money is being built there. We invest in real estate deals for our clients that they don't have to own, but they'll get a dividend income out of it. Or startups that, inshallah, over time will deliver good returns for them. There's nothing wrong with wanting that, but again, you're creating innovation-based diversification that way. And that's the beauty of these sort of conferences we're seeing where these topics are coming up. People are more bold about talking. It's almost like a phrase I came across recently, and I hope I get it right, that we grow old too soon, but wise too late. And I think that's what's happening now. We're becoming more wise to say, okay, what more can I do to make sure, to your point, money is staying within my community, benefiting others, but also me in multiple ways.
So Saad, actually really quickly, when we're talking about investing in Muslim businesses, why don't you talk a little bit about how organically we got into the venture capital space based on kind of what we saw from the community?
Yeah, so as we were doing financial planning for our clients, deciding how you should invest your money, how you're saving and so on, the questions would come up, what more can I do beyond stocks and sukuks and etc. And that is where the conversation about venture capital came, and last year we launched Nama Ventures as a completely separate entity to do exactly that, where some of our clients who are mashallah very successful Muslims working in tech or physicians, they were being told by their friends where to invest. And they're like, I'm not going to just invest in a restaurant because my friend is telling me I have no idea about it. Or some startup that I might never see any return from, but I'm doing my friend a favor, but now I think I don't want to invest anymore because I've been tainted by it. So alhamdulillah, being able to bring our expertise to the table, it was a very organic conversation with our clients and the kids to have to say, let's create some diversification and start putting money into our own ecosystem that can do various things for you. So I think it was just people bringing this up by saying, what more can you guys do for us? And we knew we wanted to. That avenue allowed us to kind of build this, and being part of the ecosystem, alhamdulillah, those kind of deals or those investments started coming to us where we were like, okay, we would like to work with someone that follows our religion, is trying to grow their own business, and in return it helps our clients as well.
Yeah, alhamdulillah, that's exactly what we noticed, is that it was, our community didn't necessarily have that accessibility of getting capital, and then we found out that our community wanted to invest in the Muslim-owned business, and so, and then from there, our experience as being fiduciaries in terms of finding suitable investments for our clients and kind of went hand in hand from the private client side to the venture side.
I don't know, we have I think a couple of minutes. If there are any specific questions that we can answer, we do have a table there, but we just put a QR code there. We're in San Francisco, I just want to be a bit techie about it. We're based in LA, by the way, but we service clients all across the country and even abroad actually. So we have a QR code that you are welcome to scan, just give your details. We like to have more one-on-one conversations to better understand how what we do can be of vital service to you. But yes, brother, you raised your hand.
Yeah, how are you structured? Are you structured like a typical venture fund or more like an advisor? You do a 2 and 20 advisory and carry on? What's it called?
Okay, so the brother asked a few good things, and just to understand for those who may not know, he said the term 2 and 20. 2% annual fee, 20% profit sharing on whatever you make, the advisor keeps. That's the conventional model. You also said fund, basket of investment. So we, being boutique, fancy word of saying we can choose whatever we want to do for our clients because we're able to, allows us to do it indifferently. Our fee varies. Typically, it's less than that. We would charge 1% or 1.5% on a private investment, and maybe 15% only when you get a return. So 85% comes to you. And we're able to show how that works. But that's not wealth management. Wealth management is asset-based investments. You invest 100,000, we'll charge a flat fee on that. You invest 200,000, the fee might be different. You invest $1 million, the fee will be different. Alhamdulillah, we manage money for medical institutions as well. They give us their corporate assets to manage, multi-seven figures, alhamdulillah. We have, I don't think I'm allowed to give our AUM for compliance reasons because that changes. But it took us 2 years to go over 50 million in assets that we actively manage on the wealth management side by word of mouth only. No marketing, no advertising, we don't have ads on LinkedIn or Facebook. So we kept it very secluded in that sense. But to your question, private investments means if all of us sitting here in this room together, and I want to be respectful of everyone's time, and we say, okay, we have a brother and a sister, two different people launching two businesses, we think they're going to do really well, they have great ideas, they have a proven track record, we want to invest in them. We will come to everyone and we'll create a basket. $100 from everyone, maybe 500, and we come up with a number, then we want to invest in that business now. And that's how we would structure it. So we do what's called a SPV, special purpose vehicle. We create a private investment for one investment only. And we'll park the money in it. Now we're getting quarterly updates from them. They tell us what's going on. We inform our, the term is LPs, limited partners. You all become limited partners basically in that investment. So we are alhamdulillah able to customize investment however we want. We are working on a fund, which means that all our 60 plus clients that we do asset management or wealth management or tax planning for are now saying, okay, you guys have proven yourselves, I'll give you a bit more money, put it on the venture capital side or private equity. So now we're building a fund where inshallah if we have a certain amount of money that we have in our mind, then we'll start deploying it in the Muslim ecosystem. It will go towards revenue sharing businesses that we can do profit sharing with. It will go into startups that might take 3 to 5 years to grow, and we negotiate our terms with them. That's a very big thing to understand. That when you're investing in a startup, a lot of people told me, I invested with a friend and this and that, but they didn't understand the terms they were investing under. And that's the key of innovative investing, is you need to have certain terms established. Are you going to make profit and share profit with me and get my money back? Or are you going to become what's called a unicorn, worth $1 billion, and someone will pay you $2 billion to buy you out and I'll make X percentage from you? We do all of that hard work. We do the screening and so on that.
Are you always a lead investor or a co-investor?
So lead investor means, if me and Ali are leading an investment, we're asking all of you to invest, so we are the lead investors. And there could be 10 other independent investors. We do both, doesn't matter. We are talking to someone to lead a full round for them, meaning we'll go to our clients, we'll go to other firms to raise, and in some, they already have raised some, they need a bit of extra money, and alhamdulillah, we can park that as well. So it works both ways. I don't know how we got time for this. Oh, so we did see the red card there. Yes, no. Thank you very much. I think it's great to connect with people here. Anything we say is of interest to you. We're here for a little bit longer. We'd love to talk. We have a QR code for a little bit. Please scan. We'd love to have more one-on-one conversations about what we do. Assalamu alaikum.